we are at the last panel discussion for the day, and I'm sure you've had a wonderful day. I've got to learn a lot, and I had a terrific experience learning about a lot of the use cases, the role of GCCs. We're going to drill down a little bit further into the technology aspects of it in our panel discussion today. So to start with, can we have a quick round of introductions from our panelists here, please? Just your name and the company you're with.
Thanks, Soumik. This is good evening to everybody. My name is Manjunath, and I'm from Vonage. Vonage is a communications software company, pioneers over 25 years, and we recently set up the GCC in India about 3 years ago.
Hi, my name is Pradeep Thakur. I'm currently a country head and vice president with a startup company called D-Matrix. We are in the space of making hardware solution for AI inference space with a significant differentiation on the performance, power, and the cost in the space for the data center cloud. Thank you.
Hello, Navneet Mishra here from Hexagon. We are the oldest GCC of this city or of the state as well. In the space of digital twin, both sides, we also have scanners, so most accurate in the world, and a lot of visualization technology. So this is what we are.
Hi, this is Amit Singh. I head the AI and machine learning practice at Tawant. We are a IT products and services firm, and I am based out of Bangalore.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Chandan Gupta. I take care of data center business unit for Iron Mountain in India.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We're going to get into the conversation, and let me try and see if I can accommodate, one or two questions at the end of today's panel. I'm sure you would want to draw from their expertise. Now, let me get straight into it. And I'll start with you, Manjunath. Now, a lot has been talked about when we're talking about GenAI. You've seen the transformative power of GenAI. You've seen, how it can send the stocks of one of the most valuable companies crashing down with the announcement of just one product. And, that's exactly what GenAI is doing to the technology space today. Now, to start with, Manjunath, how do you see GenAI transforming your industry over the next 2 years?
Sure, thanks. I think absolutely right. I come from the communications industry, so my flavor is going to be that today. I think GenAI has touched many parts of the communications industry today, but along with a lot of plenty of optimism, there's also skepticism and restraint, right? See, on the one hand, we speak about digital transformation as that juncture. I think we are in that critical juncture with GenAI today. On the one hand, there is immense opportunity to transform a business, and then on the other side, there is ambiguity, and there's ethics, and then there's governance, right? So we're talking about democratizing very, very powerful capabilities and giving it at the hands of the customers. And this has the potential for any customer, maybe small or big, to reshape customers' expectations phenomenally. So what we're expecting in the communications industry is humongous progress in a few key aspects. One of that would be personalization. Second one would be real-time customer interaction, proactive customer engagement, and then operational efficiency, right? All these things via data-driven insights and also, fully automated communication strategies. So I'm going to take a pause here. I can go on and on, but I'll take a pause here.
Thanks so much for that. Amit, I'd like to rope you in for your views. How do you see GenAI transforming your industry? And I know, when I said 2 to 3 years, you kind of scoffed and said 2 to 3 years is way too long. What's going to happen in the next 5 to 6 months?
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Yeah, so the speed at which generative AI is evolving, right? And the kind of progress that we are seeing, it's unprecedented in the industry. Nothing has progressed that fast. So that's why when you asked me about 3 to 5 years, I said that we don't even know what will happen in the next 3 to 5 months, right? The state where AI will take us. But apart from that, the way I see, especially in the IT services industry, the industry we operate in, there's going to be a lot of changes, definitely. It has already started, and we'll see more and more of that, right? So right from reskilling our workforces to make them AI-enabled. So people should, right now, it's kind of an optional thing that people use AI for their day-to-day work. It will become part of their life, right? AI will become the default mode of work. using AI to for productivity and others, right? Another major shift I see is from in terms of the pricing models. So traditional pricing models like time and material may change to more outcome based and value based pricing models, right? So the IT industry will have to look at how we price our services to our customers, because customers will, they know that we are getting productivity gains. So how does it translate to into value for them? So the pricing model itself will have to change. So more and more AI related use cases as our customers understand where they can use, and we'll have to adopt at a faster rate than them so that we can offer the best services to them. So a lot of these changes will happen.
Great point out there, Amit. And yeah, I do agree, especially the aspect of pricing in a market like India, where everything from motorcycles to Gen AI is driven by kitna deti hai. So the ROI is going to be one thing that we are going to be looking out for. Let's now take the question to Pradeep. Now, Pradeep, I would want to fine tune the question a little bit. Uh, how have you seen GenAI already transform certain aspects of the way enterprises function today? And also, how much more of that do you see in the next 2 or 3 years?
Thank you. That's a great question. So I think with generative AI, if you really look at it, just a simple analogy, right? Where we were with say ChatGPT 3 or ChatGPT 2, and then the evolution that took place, right? Starting with something that was just ridiculed as just a science experiment, right? Of not of value, to taking it to the level of intelligence that an ant will have. An ant is a very industrious creature, even though tiny, right? Very quickly, within a year, it moved to the level of intelligence of a mouse. And we are now talking about that it will be, even today's newspaper, right? That it will be on par with human intelligence, right? What does that really mean? All the aspects of human intelligence, right? Leaving the emotions out and leaving the conscience out, right? Everything and anything that human being can do, the AI will be able to take care of in next 2 to 3 years. And I can already see that for a country like India, in the enterprise space, in the data center space, and the applications that we can develop, there are some really hidden significant benefits, particularly when you think of healthcare system. Today, our patient to doctor ratio is 1 in 2,000. Imagine a booth in every rural area. Today, an intern even doesn't want to go to very rural area to serve for obvious reasons. Imagine a booth that is completely AI piloted and can do the first level diagnosis, even dispensing medicine, and validation with tie-ups with any hospitals that are in the city areas, right? And that could certainly give a much deeper penetration. It allows more time the doctor can have with patients, right? This is one aspect. Taking to another aspect, which is financial sector. We're talking about GDP, and we really want to be among the top 2 or 3 economies of the world. AI will bring the productivity to a next level, right? And that, I think today the GDP projections that we have don't really factor in the impact of AI. And I could see that whole equation changing very quickly for the economies that will adapt to AI very quickly, right? And I think all tables are set to be turned, as we saw with earlier 2 weeks back, there was an announcement about DeepSeek, right? And how things change. I think right now it's hard to predict 2 to 3 years. I think another year at the most, and we would be in a different world, and literally. So that's all I have to add.
Absolutely, I would agree with that, Pradeep. Great observations there. Now, Manjunath, we've had a first round of sweet nothings. Now, let's get into what are you doing about Gen AI. Now, I've heard some brilliant cases of new applications of AI in communications. Now, tell us what Gen AI can unlock for your company in communications. What are some other things that you are most excited about?
Sure. Well, there are several use cases, but maybe I'll talk about 2 or 3 things that comes to my mind. One is, end-to-end automation. We all talk this about very much, but end-to-end automation beyond chatbots, right? Chatbots has become like commonplace today. Every company has that, but what beyond that? Today, companies are transitioning from basic AI models like chatbots, which handles customer inquiries, to more sophisticated systems which includes automations of the entire communications process. You can look at the entire spectrum from marketing to pre-sales, sales, post-sales service, and then post-engagement. The entire spectrum has been automated. The second thing is personalization at scale. And to add to that, the context of understanding the context, right? Contextual understanding, as it is called. So let me break this up. So personalization at scale means the ability of the GenAI model to analyze vast amount of data and give you tailored responses, very curated responses or targeted advertisements, made in the service industry or in the marketing industry. But here's where it gets interesting. Talking what Pradeep was talking about human intelligence, we are touching the boundaries of almost mimicking humans today when you add contextual understanding to this. So we're talking about a model understanding customer sentiments, understanding did the customer yell at me in my previous conversation, and then I curate my responses based on that, right? So we have reached that level, and that's going to even more nuanced responses is going to come. The third thing that comes to my mind is managing compliances, right? So we look at GenAI with a lot of skepticism today, right? Because of all the negative press that we get, deep fakes and everything. But the same GenAI, is used, it will be used and is used to manage compliance. And this is very relevant in highly regulated industries like finance and healthcare and so on and so forth. So these are probably the three important ones that comes to my mind. Obviously, there are much more.
I think that's a great point. I mean, a lot of the CISOs that I've spoken to from the financial sector, they look at compliance as a burden, and GenAI can possibly ease that burden for them. Right. Let me hear your thoughts on this, Navneet. If you can tell us some of the use cases that you are most likely to try out at your organization over the next year or two.
Yeah. So let's pick up 2 or 3 examples. And since we are in the digital reality world, let's take this. So the first one that we will be working is, we already are using AI for many years. We have the world's best scanners, world's best visualization technology. We have been able to classify objects and, for example, scan this room, remove the chairs and tables with a click of a button. But now we will start doing more simulations to it, creating what you can imagine this room to be, and show these in visualization so that you can make decision makers' life easy. So that will be one. The second is, we are also in the space of, for large industrial facilities, we are able to create design documents from as built. So again, using our scanners, can we convert them? And for that, it's not the technology, but to train the data, we might create a lot of synthetic scanning results or scanned objects so that we can train our model. So that will be a second one. And third, which I see is, and already the work has started, that interlinked agentic AI, so that you traverse across systems. You have an employee, you have it in HR system, you have the same employee in your Salesforce system, and you start linking with just a mail that I want to give bonus in proportion to the sales that he has made, and that guy should be able to find out what are his salary components, and then go to Salesforce, get his sales data, find out. So this is interlinking of this so that automation is not limited to one piece, but as a human would do this, that's the way this agentic AI will start doing. So these 3 cases, I would say, is what we are going to attempt right now.
All right, thank you for that. All right, now we've looked at use cases, we've looked at applications, right from personalization to automation. Then we kind of drill down into the data aspect of it. Let's drill a little below that as well, and let's get down to the data center level. And Chandan, this is where I would want your expertise and your thoughts to come in. How do you see GenAI transforming data center infrastructure over the next couple of years?
Thanks, Aman. See, a data center, there was an era before Gen AI, during the Gen AI and after Gen AI. See, initially there are primarily 5, I call it 5-dimension impact. For the Gen AI, what is happening to the data center industry, it's not incremental change, it's a transformational change. First point, for example, power. Power, initially, we used to talk about generic 3 to 5 kilowatt power in a rack. Now with Gen AI in place, now it's not stopping. Sometime customer is saying 40 kilowatt in a rack. Another day customer is saying 120 kilowatt in a rack. And now with DeepSeek, they are saying, okay, we are coming back to 10 kilowatts. So you never know where does it stop. That the power thing, again, being a data center, we have understood that the infrastructure which we are creating has to be a hybrid. And being a multi-tenant data center, that is one benefit which we can pass on to our customer. They can pick and choose what kind of densities, what kind of setup they require. The second impact is on cooling. Now, since decades, we know that liquid is better coolant than air. But still, we have been continuing to use air because of easy availability and easy to understand technology. But now, as the densities are increasing, more and more, I mean, I know few of the major BFSI, the bank in GCC segment, are in touch with us, where they want a 15-year plan that if today I am not sure that how I'm going to do the cooling, but coming 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, there should be a capability with my partner, data center operator, that in case I want to scale to liquid cooling, it should be easily available. It could be a direct to chip cooling, it could be immersive cooling, it could be hybrid. Most of the time, it's going to be hybrid. It's never going to be 100% liquid. So this is the second thing which has changed. The third one, I would say, it's scalability. As I told you, the discussion started at 120 kilowatt in a rack. Now with sudden the DeepSeek comes and says, okay, you need 10 times less. A Google query and a AI like ChatGPT query could be of the same cost. Now the gigawatt campuses, now they are getting recalibrated. So as an operator, we are in a situation where we have to make sure the scalability, whether it's the upside or the downside, both ways there is an option available to customers. The fourth one is the network piece. Network is many a time is left out, but with Gen AI, with multi-cloud deployment, different sites deployment, the 400 gig, 800 gig is becoming increasingly common. Now we are going to see data centers having that kind of high capacity being extremely common, and that is another change. Last but the most critical one, we are like, I see if the growth of the capacity, the power guzzling continues, we are only 18 months away from sort of sanctions or moratorium. The way we faced in Singapore and Iceland, we may face somewhere in India also, because the amount of power we are talking about, that is not sustainable. So we need to, we as an organization, as a responsible organization, we make sure that whatever we are consuming, maximum possible renewable or green energy is utilized. And we even advise customer to keep optimizing their algorithm. So instead of general purpose AI models, you work on the specific purpose built AI models, so which consume lesser amount of power, which is healthier for the environment. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Chandan, for also adding that little dose of doom into our discussion. But yeah, absolutely keeping ESG concerns in mind. I think very pertinent points there. All right, now we are going to be talking about the hype versus reality, and I'm sure as technology leaders, IT leaders, there are a lot of times that you would want to know, what is real and what is not. And for this, I think I would want to take Amit, your viewpoints on this. Now you've been working as an AI and ML leader at your organization. You've seen this entire conversation around a lot of ML being pushed as AI. So you're well familiar with this entire concept of hype versus reality. So when you see an emerging technology like GenAI come in, how do you distinguish between what's really hype and what's reality?
Yeah, so in terms of hype versus reality of Gen AI, actually most of the hype is real. Okay, so what sounded like hype, but as I mentioned earlier, also the rate at which it has evolved, the hype is becoming more and more real. So there are actually real use cases you can solve with Gen AI. It's not all hype, but of course there is some amount of hype, like thinking that Gen AI is the only AI, right? So and starting to think that Gen AI will solve all the use cases, which is not true. Traditional ML and AI is still very much in play, and it is essential. Your agents, which Navneet mentioned about AI agents, they will call some other ML models which we have been using for years, right? Recommendation models, prediction models, so many models that are already in place. These agents will be making use of those models, right? And another hype I see in the industry is you are building any Gen AI application. It's just about calling a LLM, and everything is done by the LLM. That is not reality, right? So there's a lot of engineering effort that needs to go into and building a GenAI application that works. So you have to put in a lot of guardrails around the output. You have to put in a lot of mechanism to measure the quality of the output that is coming out of the application and so on. So
Correct.
even though LLMs play a major part, building a GenAI application requires a lot of other nuts and bolts, which we need to bring all of them together. Only then a successful application gets built.
Right.
Yeah.
Navneet, is there an if-then rule that you use to decide to distinguish between hype and reality? If you could share that with the audience, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, this session itself will create a bit of hype. I will not deny that. Having said that, yes, traditional AI as a word was shocking to start with. That that was so already good that it is a bit awkward to call it traditional just in 2 years' time. Having said that, what I feel is yes, we would like our techies in the system, in the company, to know the fundamentals, to know the tools, to know the ecosystem, what is happening around. But the moment you deal with them, you enable them, they say, okay, where is the next problem I solve using GenAI? And which is a wrong question to ask. The problem should determine what should be the solution approach. To find an employee's age, if you're going to use GenAI, this is the strangest thing that you can do. So we have to ensure that the right problems are being chased, and then you discuss that AI is not happening for AI's sake. And it has to solve, as we keep saying to our employees again, it has to solve a customer's problem. And it should be so good at it that customer pays for it. Because then it starts making in sense of B2B universe or whatever you're trying to position. So I would say that this reality of when somebody's efficiency gain or accuracy gain will make them pay for your effort, and that will make it more real as we go forward. Yeah.
Fantastic. Great takeaway for you guys out there. Don't do AI for AI's sake. So thanks so much for that. All right. Now, Pradeep, my next question goes to you. Wise men and women have been warning us about the governance aspect of GenAI. Now, your company is building new computing platforms from the ground up. If you could tell us, what are some of the governance models that you would recommend for responsible AI development?
So our company is primarily involved into building the hardware solution over which the applications can be developed. And in that context, there are evolving standards at the international level. There are evolving standards at the national level. However, I consider the situation with a corollary, if I may. I think the pace at which AI is coming in, the spread, the penetration that it is having, the only analogy I have with is the epidemic of COVID that we went through. It was so fast and so new that we kind of learned how to manage ourselves as we lived through it, right? So today we are able to envisage few things ahead, and we're talking about data security standards that are coming in place, talking about privacy standards that are coming in place, the ethical usage practices that are being encouraged, right? Ensuring that the AI framework is in place before certain technology does get availed to a country ABC. So these are all the, I would say, guardrails that are just evolving. But it's only when we're in the middle of it, I think we learned that there should be social distance. We learned there should be double mask. Maybe that's more effective than a single mask. Maybe ensuring to wash our hands more frequently. I think this is an evolving situation. So there is a lot of literature and practices in place, but I think all of that is at a level 0. Right. As we go forward, this is in some ways, if you consider, right, inventing a tool that can do a lot of good as well as it can be used to harm. Right. And whose hands is it in is what is going to make a difference. And beyond a point, you will not be able to control. I mean, what happened with nuclear technology, many countries have it, some of which we wish that they didn't, but they do, right? And all kinds of national treaties, international treaties don't stop the proliferation. So only thing I would say is that besides all the known things, I would just consider them as level 0. I think
How do you ensure data quality and security when you're leveraging AI? Real quick, 2 points from each.
Sure. Well, see, data is the at the heart of every Gen UI case today, right? So studies show that at least 35 to 40% of the projects fail because of poor data quality. When you say data quality, what are we talking about? We're talking about accuracy of the data, completeness of the data, relevance of the data, and timeliness of the data, right? In order to get a good balance of this, I think there are many things. That one thing that comes to my mind is data cleanliness of the data, right? Robust investment in cleanliness and validating the data. I think there's a lot of tools available to do that. And coming to security was the second point. This is kind of paradoxical a little bit. The very measures that we are taking to secure the data will actually undermine the data quality, right? So it's kind of a counterintuitive thing there. But the breakneck speed at which we are adopting AI, I think that has outpaced the security systems today, right? And so we got to build those systems in a much more faster way. So I'll cut short here.
Thank you so much. Chandan, can I have your 2 quick takeaways, please, from the security and the data quality bit?
Yeah, when we're talking about Gen AI or any advanced technology, to put in a casual terms, it's a garbage in and garbage out. If you put garbage data, you're always going to get garbage output, no matter how many models you train or anything. So this is something we need to be a little careful about what we put in these models. Now, we already see so much discrimination going on in the industry. So the amount of diverse data availability, the kind of checks on the data, that is right now extremely critical. End of the day, it's going to impact human beings, whether it's employees. The first impact of Gen AI, what I see, maybe on the entry level jobs, the college freshers or the students who want to make up in the corporate world. Many of the things, there needs to be some kind of AI governance, which we also talked about. So this is the quality of data obviously has to be ensured. What
Right.
kind of quality of data is going in? Maybe some level of minimum manual check, human intervention might be required,
Okay.
so that there has to be some sanity in case something goes wrong. Similarly, on the security front, again, the security, the AI right now, the maximum usage, it will be the defenders versus hackers. There are many security organizations which are leveraging AI.
Great. So we're going to see an AI versus AI
So
battle.
it's a both AI versus AI battle, and it's going to be concurrent. I mean, both are. I mean, now we need more and more specialized security organizations to deal with things. So services like the SOC services and all may become extremely critical for us.
Correct. All right. Now, I want to leave our audience with something really valuable. I'm sure a lot of them are trying out their own, Gen AI or models, or at least playing around with some LLMs, etc. What kind of KPIs do you think, or what kind of success metrics do you think organizations should be tracking to measure the output or measure the success of their Gen AI? Amit, if you could share 2 quick points.
Yeah, so Gen AI measurement in terms of how we measure the success and the outcome. So it has to be totally aligned with your objectives that you're doing for that particular use case. For example, if you're looking at using Gen AI for increasing productivity, then how much productivity gain you are getting? Is it 10%, 20%, 30%? If you're looking at creating new revenue areas for your organization using Gen AI, then it has to be in terms of revenue. So it has to be, if it is time to market, how much reduction in time to market you're gaining by using Gen AI. So AI or Gen AI's value is totally correlated with the business outcomes, right? And it has to be aligned with that. It's not separate from the business. AI has to function along with, it has to reside with the business process. And you measure it just like you do your business.
All right, thank you. Well, in the interest of time, we'll have to limit our discussion to this point. But then again, the discussion can always carry on outside this hall. It doesn't necessarily have to be confined to a stage. So with that, I'll hand it back to you. And thank you, gentlemen. Thank you again for sharing your views, your points on Gen AI. And I hope you guys had something to take away from this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.